Good evening everyone, AnthWolf here streaming live on Twitch with my game of choice for tonight, of course, even more Final Fantasy XIV, playing as our level 65 warrior Leonhardt. And where we last left off, we were doing some of the post-Heavensward content, some of the main storyline, where we finally got to learn more about the Warriors of Darkness, where they came from, what their goals were, and unfortunately, it seems, at least for the near and possible far and forever future, we may never meet Minfilia again, becoming now the emissary of the First World. And the Warriors of Darkness have returned to their world, now that it's not going to be bathed in purifying light. Unfortunately, a lot of good things also had a lot of negative things occur as well. Obviously, we were reunited with more Scions, we were reunited with Papalimo and Yida. But we also now know about a militant refugee group from Little Alamigo known as the Masks, who were led by this mysterious Griffin, who seems to want to take the fight to the Garlean Empire. And as we saw at the end of the last patch storyline, the Griffin was given the Eyes of Nidhogg from Elidibus. But we're now going to continue the main storyline. I say there may be a few new things unlocked. We may have to explore the main cities at some point. See if there's any new quests available. But we'll continue the main storyline. We're actually going to be going into, let me get this right, patch 3.5, the Far Edge of Fate, which is actually split into 2 points. And it seems to begin, we need to speak to Tataru here. Oh, of course, Alice A, Alphino's sister, has joined us as a Scion as well. Tidings from Ger Albania. Tataru has a request for you. Oh, okay. Diamond Forge is just to the north, next to Rowena's store. Oop. Walking through a door that will not open. Ger Albania, or Albania, whichever way you want to pronounce it, I think it's Albania, is the region where Alamigo is situated. I think it is a rather mountainous place. Similar to, say, Fanalan is the region where Uldar resides, and La Nocia is the region of Limsa Lominsa. Okay, Tataru, why are we coming here exactly? Okay. Tataru, you're making me slightly worried. Am I your life-size dress-up doll? You could have just asked. Oh, either. I thought Ida was going back to the Resistance to keep an eye on them. Guess she hasn't left just yet. Okay, back to the Solar we go then.
We're here. Did we miss anything?
We would not presume to begin without you, Ida. Orianger has returned to the Waking Sands, but everyone else is now present.
Yes, but for what exactly? We all have duties to attend to, Alphino, so you may dispense with the preamble.
Thank you, Elise. It is the very subject of those duties which compelled me to call this gathering. And while I stand by the decision to approach each task as we see fit, I fear our effectiveness will ultimately be diminished should we continue to act in ignorance of each other's efforts. Thus, I propose we elect a successor to Minfilia. Not to serve as a fully fledged antecedent, perhaps, but as a coordinator of operations.
Is that all? Well, then the decision seems clear. No one else has shown any enthusiasm for the role, and judging by your performance at our previous meeting, you would seem the perfect candidate. You always did have a flair for politics.
I did not mean to... That was not my intention. As my tenure as commander of the Crystal Braves comprehensively demonstrated, I lack the qualities required for such an office. I would much prefer to remain as I am now, a soldier in the field, so to speak.
Should none of our numbers step forward, must we then constrain some unwilling candidate to take up the position?
Well, based on merit alone, a certain adventurer would be my choice. Though I concede he might struggle to balance his new responsibilities with, let me see, slaying primals, thwarting legatuses, and feeding the orphan poor.
It is a duty that I will put up with, of course.
Thancred makes a good point. Any who would wear such a mantle would be bound by its obligations. Have we not become sufficiently familiar with each other's methods to act without an overseer? At present, I see no cause to so willingly limit one of our number.
Oh my goodness! Help! I need some help here!
Oh, Christ. Why is Tataru not in here? She's as much of a scion as everyone else.
Tataru, are you all right?
Me? I'm fine. It's this poor girl who just staggered in and collapsed on the floor that I'm worried about.
Narco! God, how did... Yashola! Please, you have to help her.
Kral, a hand if you would. Let us see about closing these wounds.
Now, we've staunched the bleeding, but it may be a while before you can move about again. Though having seen your wounds, I'm surprised you are still moving at all.
Thank you. My message. It was too important to delay. I took the shortest route I could, though I knew it was more heavily patrolled. As you can see, my efforts at evasion were not entirely successful.
Honestly, you're too brave for your own good. What was so urgent that you needed to fight half the Empire to get here? You could have been killed.
I'm sorry, Ida. I had good reason. But I imagine your friends are wondering who this bloody mess of a Mikote is. My name is Minago, and I belong to the Alamegan Resistance.
Which is the internal group within Garlean occupied territory.
I came to warn Ida and Papalimo about one of our leaders. A man who calls himself the Griffin. He's always been dangerous, but he's planning something new. Something reckless.
The Griffin, you say? I've heard the name. Rumor has it your man is eager to test his claws.
Aye, and on no easy target. He means to assault Baelsar's wall from the Alamegan side.
But what does the Griffin possibly hope to gain from such an attack?
From what I understand, he wants the fires of war to spread to Eorzea. And for that, he needs to control the border with Gridania.
So, he means to spark a conflict between the Alliance and the Imperial forces stationed in Alamigo, to have Eorzea's armies aid in the liberation effort, whether they will it or no.
His plan is flawed. Even should the Resistance succeed in occupying the wall, they would not be able to hold it. Imperial reinforcements would drive them out within a week.
Be that as it may, if there is even a chance that this scheme could bring about an escalation in hostilities between Eorzea and the Empire, the Alliance must be informed.
Agreed. I shall depart for Lim-Salaminsa forthwith and seek an audience with the Admiral. Thancred, Uldar is yours. Alphino and Alize, make haste to the Twelveswood and notify the Elder Seedseer of the danger to Gridania. She will duly call a council of the Alliance leaders, whom you must be ready to receive. You will be our voice in Ishgard. Explain the situation to Sir Emmerich, and encourage him to send an envoy. To Taru, Kryl, I leave the care of our injured messenger to you. See that she remains quiescent and her wounds closed. I believe that covers everything. Let us be about our tasks.
I suspect the ill tidings from Girabania will be held as a turning point. The beginning to a bloody end.
Yeah, normally it's...
The business of war was ever conducted with the coin of self-sacrifice.
It was normally always Ida and Papalimo who spoke for Gridania.
'Twas Master Louis Soir himself who taught us that such costs are not to be ignored or denied. And so, I shall embrace them. When the time comes, I will make my choice, as you will yours.
Papalimo's feeling very reflective of late. I wonder if he's felt this way since the events in Ulda, when he and Ida have had to rely on themselves and the Alamegan resistance. Yeah. Baelsar's wall literally is a stone's throw away from New Solace. Oh, sorry, Little Solace. Okay. I guess we will journey up... Oh. We'll journey up to Ishgard. I may just press the wrong button there. No, I'm not even that tired. It just feels that way. Oh no. Hello, Lucia. We need a meeting with Sir Emmerich. Envoy for Ishgard. Lucia seems eager to set forth for Gridania. Lucia was right, of course. It is Sir Emmerich who's going to be acting as the Ishgardian envoy. My way now over to Camp Dragonhead. I'm going to check something at Camp Dragonhead, actually. I'm going to pop my head into one particular room. I want to see if there's something, or rather someone there. Okay, good. I was seeing if the late Lord Harshafont was there, as he would still be interactable by other players who haven't got to a certain part of the storyline yet. Oh. Lord Emanuelaine has taken over. Interesting. It's nice to see that he's taking up a bit more responsibility for himself. Okay, onwards to Gridania then. Ooh, that's an evil name. A player running around called Laurentius. I remember that. Wood Whaler. Traitor not once, but twice. An allied decision. Sir Emmerich is ready to attend the council. Ah, Yagiri. It has certainly been a while.
I bid you welcome, my friends. As you will by now be aware, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn have come into possession of certain intelligence concerning recent developments in the region of Gyr Abania. It springs, I am assured, from an unimpeachable source. Is that not so, Master Alphino?
Indeed, Elder Seedseer. Our information comes directly from a member of the Resistance's inner circle, and we have no cause to doubt its veracity.
This griffin of theirs is a fool if he thinks he can hold Baelsar's wall against the Empire. When the Imperials move to take it back, they will come in force. And the resulting fighting is all but certain to spill over into the Black Shroud.
At the Battle of Cartano, the combined might of 3 grand companies labored to contend with the remnants of but a single Imperial legion. Alone, Gridania would be hard-pressed indeed to hold back the tide, should the Garleans turn their minds from reclamation to invasion.
May I once more convey my nation's deepest regrets for our inaction in the days prior to the calamity. 'Tis a stain upon our ledger that I would fain remove. Elder Seedseer, I do hereby request leave to deploy a defensive force within the borders of Gridania. Ishgard's return to the Alliance shall be honored by more than mere ink upon parchment.
The Doman people too would join any effort that weakens our common foe. We are few, but our most seasoned shinobi are at your disposal.
On behalf of my people, I offer you my humble thanks. Gridania welcomes your assistance.
It is time we set our contingency plans in motion. Is the Alliance agreed? Then let us make ready for war. Victory favors the swift. There is much to be done.
The Council knows that Alamigo will not soon be wrested from the Empire, and its decision to bolster the border's defenses seems eminently practical. Why then, brother, do you scowl so?
I agree that they have chosen the wisest course available. Indeed, the only reasonable one. Yet something feels awry. In making ready for war, is the Alliance not granting the Griffin the very thing he desired? Any attempt to hold the wall is doomed to failure, aye. But I wonder if we have misjudged the prize for which he plays.
Unfortunately, the Alliance has to do what they have to do, regardless of if it's what the Griffin wants. To do otherwise, well, I mean, Zagalians would have a rather easy time stepping into Gridania. Well, into the Shroud, I should say. Okay. Seems that the Scions are regathering back over in Mordona. Griffin on the wall. Alisaie seems eager to discuss the council's decision with the other scions. It seems Thancred Ygiri, Yida and Papalimo may have a chance to speak directly to the Griffin to maybe get him give up on his actions. Okay, so I guess we're going to be standing sentry with Alphino. I mean, we would love to free Alamigo from Garlean occupation, but it has to be done right, when the moment is right. And if the Garlean Imperial Legions end up coming in force, they could do a lot of significant damage. Okay, onwards to the watchtower. Where we'll keep an eye on any unusual activity. And there's the wall there. Yeah, Hilda. Hi. Hi, Pippin. Seems a lot of the sub-commanders of the various grand companies have turned up. It seems negotiations with Papalimo, Yida and the others with the Griffin didn't actually go to plan, if they happened at all. And he's attacking wearing the colours of the Grand Companies, making them believe the Alliance is actually fighting against the Empire. Okay, it seems we need to get to the wall ourselves. Baelsar's wall is now accessible. Here we go. Okay. Give me but a moment. I'm just going to have a quick read of the events that are going to, well, the bosses we may encounter. And then I'm somewhat prepared. So we have 3 bosses. First one's fairly straightforward. The second boss seems fairly straightforward, though it does have one mechanic we should be aware of. And then finally, that seems fairly straightforward, actually. Okay. Baelsar's Wall. Marking the border between the Black Shroud and Gia Albania, the legacy of Gaius van Baelsar is now a towering monument of imperial tyranny, and now smoke rises from its iron crenellations. In a bid to drag the armies of Eorzea into the struggle for Alamegan liberation, the Griffin and his resistance fighters have disguised themselves in Grand Company uniforms and laid siege to Baelsar's Wall. While Alphino seeks to call your companions back from their now meaningless mission of diplomacy, you must ascend a war-torn fortification by the swiftest route possible and persuade the Griffin, by force if necessary, to abandon his reckless ambition. And can I disable chat? Actually, what I can do... for this one fight... I'm going to turn off chat. Just in case one of our fellow players decides to say any spoilers. Just in case. It may not happen, but I'd rather it didn't if the situation came to light. Okay, let's just wait for the duty finder to pop now. Okay, we're just waiting for a healer. Hello there, Serenity. Welcome to the stream. Just waiting for another party member. We'll get ourselves over to Baelsar's wall. You're waiting to get in the snow cloak. I like that dungeon, actually. Well, okay, I like the dungeon if the tank knows about the mechanic of the second boss, with the snowballing. Otherwise, it can be a very long second boss. How is Warrior? It's going really well, actually. I like the amount of like health we have. Like if I use my Defiance here, I'm popping at the moment over 40,000 health, and that's with kind of slightly subpar level 60 gear. I like the survivability, but with tanks, especially as a healer myself, like I used to be a healer main for so long, I used to remember like tanks doing some amazing like huge pulls and being able to survive it. Maybe I was a good healer, maybe they were just a better tank than me, just that even as a warrior I can't seem to pull it off without really pulling out a lot of the abilities, the emergency abilities that a warrior has. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. I love my weapon. Like, I did a lot of this off stream, but I ended up finally crafting my Zodiac relic weapon. I've actually got the Shire weapon equipped right now, but it's glamour to look like the Ragnarok Zeta. And that took me a good 30, maybe 40 hours. But I'm so happy I did. The one thing I had to get used to with the warrior was, without flash, you don't have like an immediate like threat generation skill. You need to have a bit of positioning to use overpower, which is like a frontal cone attack. So that got a bit of you had to get used to that. But later on you do get Steel Cyclone, which is a threat generating AoE around yourself skill. But you use some of your beast gauge to actually cast it, which is something you need to micromanage. I don't think a warrior uses their MP for anything, which is a downside as well, because then you need to manage your technique points a lot more. Whereas I think the Paladin and the Dark Knight have MP using skills. I wish you luck. Snowcloak is quite nice. It has some nice relaxing Minecraft music, I think. It's quite a peaceful dungeon. We're just still waiting for a healer here, and we'll be on our way. By the time we get into the dungeon, the fighting will already be over. Oh, that's a positive sound. Baelsar's Wall. Let us begin. As I say, we'll still be polite and say hello, but it won't come up in the chat screen here. Just in case. Hello, random user. Indeed. And I've disabled chat just in case one of my party accidentally gave anything away. Let us go try and put a stop to the griffin, shall we? Samurai and a red mage. Oh. Thank you, Red Mage. Okay, up to the first boss. Quick reminder. No, fairly straightforward. Okay, onwards to the armory. Oh yes, this seems very familiar. Oh, hi. Holy hell. very worried about them cleaving the other party members. 3 cleaves would probably kill. Well, definitely the healer. Oh, hello. More friends. Thank you. Whew, we're all still alive. Nice job. And up to the second boss. And the healer overhealed, I think, on that one. Well, this is not going to go well. Yeah. I mean, the healer was using a lot of Medica, which generates a lot of aggro. And since we couldn't actually do anything, we couldn't attack, it was just constantly generating threat, while we weren't generating aggro of our own. Medic at 2 is probably not the best skill to use here. However. What we'll do is we'll focus this on our threat generating chain.
Yeah.
Onwards now to the parapet. Oh yeah, slowly scaling the wall to try and stop the griffin. One thing with having the party chat off, I'm not sure if someone goes AFK. Let's be safe. I turned it off just in case anyone was going to spoil anything. I like what is coming up. I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit paranoid. It probably won't. I thought I'd disable just in case. Not on this dungeon, but when I was playing originally, I had something similar happen to me. Oh, we have somebody, some of the rebellion here. You've been here already, Serenity. Been where? Been to Snowcloak? To be fair, I already know what's coming up, but anyone watching who hasn't played the game or got this far won't have. Ah, the dungeon, yeah. Well, it's because I export this later onto YouTube as well. For anyone who may be watching the series there. And the griffin is Ilbert. Well, here we go.
How'd you like these? Sloppy. I'll tear you limb from limb. Sloppy. How'd you like these? Yeah! Sloppy. Yeah! Sloppy. I'll tear you limb from limb. Yeah. Sloppy. For Alamigos! I have you now. Yeah. How'd you like these?
I'll tear you limb from limb. Yeah. Lovely.
I know! You know what, I actually forgot to, I have a macro just for party chat limit break to mention it. Oh well.
You've beaten me, aye. But you cannot stop what I've begun. Behold, a glimpse of things to come.
We did it! We showed the bastards!
Aye! Victory is ours!
And who knows, lads? Mayhap the Eorzeans will finally see sense when the enemy turns up on their bloody doorstep.
This is for Alamigo, for Eorzea.
Oh, you're still around. You're dressed as a Garlean soul. Are you? Are you gonna betray people for a third time?
They die that others may live.
Oh, you absolute prick.
Vanguards! Attack!
Seven hells! Do you hear that?
War machines. How did they get here so quickly?
Stand your ground! For the resistance!
And this is what they wanted.
There's nowhere to run. We're cut off.
Gods help us! What were we thinking? The Empire's too big. Too powerful. Mighty Rhalgr, grant us the strength to crush our...
There you are.
As you can see, our infiltrators did not elude me for long. Lady Ugiri is sending for an airship even as we speak.
What do we do? This is a massacre!
How wonderful to see you, Commander.
Ilbird. I should have known. This has to end. It has to end now! Do you not see your countrymen dying? Have your ideals rendered you blind even to that? Order the retreat, and we will help your soldiers to safety.
Retreat? With the moment of my triumph so close at hand? You truly are a sheltered child, Leverrier.
Nidhogg's eyes. No abyss is too deep for you, I see. But trust me when I say that such power was not meant for mortal hands.
How long have I struggled to reach this point? My countrymen, so inured to the taste of defeat, they no longer balk at its bitterness, shouting my throat raw with rallying cries, only to be greeted with dull eyes and blank faces. My brothers and sisters in Ulda have surrendered to their apathy and their appetites. Were it not for the glint of Lodorito's coin, I doubt even those here now would have answered my call. Take back our homeland! Free Alamigo! Ha! They'll happily mouth the words, but they won't spill the blood. You say no mortal should wield these eyes? Then I shall gladly become a demon. I will suckle on the souls of the hopeless and liberate the homeland they no longer deserve.
What exactly do you mean to do?
Did you hear their cries as victory was snatched away from them? Even with their dying breaths, they cursed the Empire. Never has their desire for vengeance been so raw, so true. A god has no need of faith when summoned by so pure a purpose.
Summoned? You cannot mean to fight the Empire with a primal! You know full well the danger, the futility of relying on such power.
Oh yes, I know their limitations. Which is why I will call upon a deity more terrible than the very black worm of the calamity itself.
What? Here? Now?
Like hells you will!
An ending to mark a new beginning. My pain, my longing, you shall have it all!
This light, is it...
His death completed the ritual. The primal is taking shape.
Well, can't we stop it? There must be something we can do!
There is one thing.
What? Hey! Where do you think you're going?
Master Louisoix briefly contained Bahamut by means of a potent spell of sealing. I will now attempt to do the same.
But that's impossible! We would need hours to collect the necessary ether, if not days!
Alphino, though I concede it may not always be apparent, I was ever your grandsire's finest pupil.
Timtimati, of course! The staff still holds enormous power, broken or not.
Don't you dare, Papalymo! I know how that spell works. It is time to leave.
Quite right. Quickly now, off you go. The further away, the better.
No! If you're staying, then so am I.
No, Ida! There is a path only you can walk, and it must not end here, not like this! Take her! Please, you have to take her!
What? No! Damn it, Thancred! Put me down! Thancred!
This is one battle you cannot fight. Away with you! Go!
Hilda! I think he means now!
I bid thee farewell again, my dear Ida. Now, let us see how good a student I truly was.
Hello there, Blue Seed. Welcome to the stream. Oh, gets me every time. God damn it. Yeah. least the weather here in East Shroud is appropriate for the situation. Louisoir's finest student. It is plain that recent events have shaken Alphino to the core. Beast more powerful than the one that caused the calamity. That's what Ilbert was trying to summon. And we gain the achievement Schools Out Forever. Oh god. And you know what? We may as well go just a little bit further. The obvious solution. The interminable wait for news from Gridania seems to be taking its toll on Alisei. thing I had considered when we had got to the end of Baelsar's wall, when we saw, look, Laurentius, I expected that was some explosive device of some kind, and I thought he was going to go to the Garlean Empire dressed as he was to inform them of the Alliance's invasion.
A word, if you would, good sir. This place, it is within the realm of Eorzea.
You're an odd-looking fellow, aren't you? Still, takes all sorts, I suppose. This here's Vesper Bay, Thanalan's door to the ocean, as some folk like to call it.
Am I to understand from your answer that I have indeed arrived in Eorzea?
Eh? Yes? You're in Eorzea?
Ah! A plain response at last, and the one I wanted at that. My journey was not without its hardships, and I would sooner travel by land than put to sea again. You do not believe that so small a bark could bear me across the ocean? Such timid little sailors. I had but to set my course and set my jaw till I made port. Though, 'twould perhaps have been wise to lay down my oars a moment to sup on more than the spray of brine water. By the trembling of my limbs, I sense a brief repast may be in order. Nay, I will not hearken to the feeble grumblings of an empty belly. Duty comes before all.
Good God, man. Are you all right?
Thou art far indeed from home, friend.
I'm sure Urion J will have something very interesting to report to the Scions. Yes, a familiar face indeed, random user. I'm sure we'll get acquainted with him at some point in the near future. For now, though, back to Gridania we go.
Dear friends, pray accept my heartfelt thanks for your efforts in defense of Gridania's borders. I would fain dwell longer on my gratitude for the support of the Alliance, but the situation at Baelsar's wall demands that we forego such pleasantries.
According to our most recent intelligence, the cocoon of light that formed in the air above the wall remains undimmed and unbroken. After measuring the cocoon's etheric concentrations, Archon Y'shtola has confirmed the presence of a primal entity.
So we must assume that Ilbert's thrice-damned god is indeed trapped within. And what news of the Imperials? They're not like to ignore such a spectacle.
Sir, a Garlean airship was observed making an approach, but the vessel was destroyed when it drew near. The Empire appears to have made no subsequent attempts to reach the object.
The soldiers who witnessed the incident spoke of a lance of light issuing from within the cocoon. Of an entire warship being reduced to smoking ruin in the space of a moment. Veterans of Cartano, meanwhile, likened the destruction to that wrought by the fiery wrath of Bahamut.
We could face another calamity.
So the Primal is awake then? Contained, yes, but for how long? We must destroy it now, lest it break free.
Agreed. There is, however, the small matter of how to get close enough to a being that swats warships from the sky as you would a bothersome gnat.
Is this truly so complex a puzzle? Or have you no stomach for the obvious solution?
What in the hells are you doing here?
A pleasure to see you too, Garland. Now, if you'd be so kind as to explain to these good people why you should be begging me for my assistance, that would be most appreciated.
Who is this man?
Oh, how terrifically rude of me. Nero Tolskeva, former tribunus of the 14th Legion of the Garlean Empire. These days, however, one might say that I'm something of a free agent.
Yeah, after you turned tail and ran away after we beat you.
What do you want, Nero?
I was getting to that. Although you already know what I'm about to propose, old friend. As you have rather belatedly realized, within that frail binding lurks an entity alike in strength to the great Bahamut, and the only force in existence which might conceivably contend with such a foe is the very creation which captured the Elder Primal in the first place. I speak, of course, of Omega.
Omega? That hulk has been gathering dust beneath the plains of Cartano since the Allagans breathed their last. And none alive knows how to wake it.
Or stupid enough to try.
I'm sorry? Do you understand who it is with whom you have the privilege of speaking? I'm Nero Tolskeva, Master Engineer, the mechanical genius who restored the Ultima weapon to full operational capacity. And as luck would have it, I am graciously offering you the use of my considerable expertise.
And what, you just expect us to accept? Why would we trust the word of a man who furnished the Black Wolf with the means to subjugate Eorzea?
Trust? You wound me, Garland. All those years, studying side by side at the Academy, sharing both trial and triumph, we were countrymen once, you and I. But sentiment aside, have you a better solution? Or do you mean to send in your vaunted hero there, as you always do, and pray the world is not engulfed in flame? Let us approach the problem in a rational manner. Does not the fact that Omega slumbers in stasis point to the existence of some overriding technology? A means of control?
I would ask a question, if I may. Nero, was it not? In the event that we succeeded in using Omega to shackle the Primal in the manner you propose, what then would become of it? Do we not risk repeating the mistakes of the Allagans?
Omega is but a tool. How we choose to employ that tool is entirely up to us. Of course, if you would rather leave it buried beneath Cartano while you continue your petty squabbles above, then I suppose that is also your choice.
Spare us, Nero. The Seedseer's concern is a valid one. He who controls Omega wields the power of the gods, the very power which led the Allagans to destroy themselves.
And does it not fall to we engineers to prevent such misuse? What was your company's proud slogan? Freedom through technology?
A creed you follow, is it? What say you? Do we take this villain at his word?
Oh, great. Of course not. But we don't have much choice.
As will I. I don't like it, but then it doesn't look like we have much choice. Would the Council be willing to entrust this matter to a pair of former Imperials?
Yes. The task of restoring the Allagan relic will be yours. But the responsibility for its reawakening must remain with the Council. Do we condone this course of action?
Aye. It would seem we do. Let the record show that we invest this contingent with the authority to enter Cartano and take command of Omega. Cid, I appoint you leader of the expedition. Scions, I would ask that you assign some few of your number to escort Master Garland and supervise the other one.
We should be happy to oblige. The politics of Cartano being what they are, I dare say our neutrality will prove useful in avoiding any unnecessary entanglements.
If I am not mistaken, Doma occupies a similarly neutral position. Might we not persuade you to join the expedition, Lady Yugiri? If you suspected any foul play from Nero, you would be welcome to kill him.
My blade is yours.
Not a moment's hesitation, eh? You'll forgive me if I do not shake your hand.
So we're going to be awakening Omega. That's interesting to say the least. Oh, hello. Greater obsolescence. Alphino is eager to join Sid and the others, and we gain an unknown item as a reward. We're trying our hardest to make Nero feel as unwelcome as possible. Okay. Our way back over to Revenant Toll. Oh. Yeah, I don't like Nero much either, Yagiri. Oh, bloody hell. Hey, Serenity. Don't worry. This was passing by. You're welcome to put something in the tea if you want to, Tara. I wouldn't be against it. Come on then, give us your impression. I'm sure the word quaint might pop up.
So these are the fabled headquarters of the Scions. I confess I would have expected an order of self-proclaimed warrior scholars to surround themselves with the fruits of man's enlightenment. And yet there's not so much as a single piece of magitech in sight. It never ceases to amaze me how primitive you Eorzeans truly are.
Ah, primitive, not quaint.
Oh, I'll have you know that the Rising Stones is home to the very latest in magitech innovation. Wedge calls it the Mark 14 Thermocoil Boil Master, and it's the finest kettle I've ever had the pleasure to own.
We are returned. Well, Ida and I, at least. Ishtola and the others remain behind to continue their assessment of the binding magic.
There didn't seem much point staying just for that, so I decided to come back with Alphino. Papalimo bought us this time. We shouldn't waste it.
By your leave!
Oh dear.
Good God, that voice could fell a gigas.
This is the Rising Stones, domicile of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I enter at the invitation of one Lord Urianger. I spy you there, Shadow Walker. You always were a hard one to find.
Yugiri, do you know this man?
Gosetsu, why are you come to Eorzea?
In search of you, Yugiri. For days and nights did I row across the angry sea. I made port in good spirits, only for my own flesh to betray me over the trifling matter of an empty belly. Collapsed in the street like an unfed stray I was, until Lord Urianger came to my aid. Over a most welcome meal, we spoke of the plight of Doma, and I learned of our displaced countrymen's work to resettle this blighted land. 'Twas blind fortune that I was able to locate you so swiftly. But now we must make ready to depart. Our master languishes in dire peril, and Doma calls her daughter home.
It is not so simple, Gozetsu. There are obligations which bind me here.
You refuse? Did you mislay your oath during your flight from our homeland? The laws of hospitality must be honored, but surely the vow to defend your master demands the greater obeisance.
It was our master who bid me guide our people to safe haven by any means necessary. And it was the scions you see before you who provided us succor and sanctuary when all others refused. Dire peril or no, were I to return without first repaying such hospitality, our master would cut me down at the threshold.
Mayhap that is so.
There is more. A crisis threatens all within this realm, Eorzean and Doman alike, and I go to play my part in its resolution. I will not bring shame upon our liege by abandoning my people or my duty.
How very noble of you. Now, in the name of honor, kinship, and, yes, practicality, might I suggest we get this expedition underway? Or would you rather debate the finer points of duty and leave Omega to the Empire?
The Empire? You, Giri? You draw steel against the curs of Garlemald? Then why did you not say so? My blade is oath-bound to fall upon the ranks of the Imperials wheresoever they march. Lead on, Shadow Walker, and may the enemy tremble at our coming.
Shh. Nero's an Imperial. Start with him. Oh. Is that a monocle? So yeah, we gained the Scion Adventurer's armor set. Well, my main character actually did use it for some parts of the game, especially the jacket. The jacket's used quite a lot in a lot of glamour. I think the armor is dyeable as well. It is. Yeah, I think I used, was it? Yeah, I might have dyed the suit black at some point for a particular glamour I used years ago. Well, years ago, maybe last year. Well, it would probably offend Tataru if we didn't wear it. So yeah, sure, why not? You know, I don't think we're going to be in combat just yet. There you go. I hope you're happy. A hipster warrior outfit. Yeah, we might need to find a more fitting weapon to go with it. We could maybe die the Ragnarok Zeta. Ah, well. So now we know his identity, Gosetsu. Fly free, my pretty. Yida's eyes shine with rekindled determination. What we may do, just for safety's sake... Oh, we don't actually have any more slots available. If that's the case, I don't need this one anymore. Don't need this anymore either. Okay, heading over to Cartano now. Oh, okay, I guess we are having to put our armor on. Duty calls. When you commence battle for Fly Free, my pretty. If your level is above 60, it will be synced.
Now, where was that? Ah! I've enabled the teleporter. One brief jump and we shall arrive in Omega's control room.
How convenient. You've been here before.
Of course. It was no easy task threading a path through all the skirmishes. But how could I ignore the existence of such a fascinating toy? You may trust that my preliminary examination was suitably thorough.
Sure.
Trust? Aye. I trust your appetite for technology.
I chased down a suspect airship, and who should I find but the traitor, Sid Garland.
You were also...
Searching for something, engineer? Something big? It's close, isn't it?
You are also very familiar. Is that Nero's hammer on your back?
It's like all my name days have come at once.
Of all the scouts the Empire could have sent. Take care of that brute, will you?
God damn it. Can't let Nero tinker around in there by himself. I'm sorry to leave you to it, but I dare say you'll manage without me. This clod has no idea who he's dealing with.
I am Gosetsu, Samurai of Doma. You will rue your choice of opponent this day.
No holding back!
No retreat. No surrender!
With soul and steel!
It's all over now.
Leave this to me.
I have you!
You watching, Pabalimo?
An opening.
Look upon a samurai of Doma!
Did you just... You did?
This won't sting.
Your defense is lacking.
'Tis my right to strike!
No holding back!
No retreat. No surrender!
With soul and steel!
It's all over now.
He's a berserker.
You watching, Papalimo?
Your defense is lacking.
Is my right to strike?
Nero's added a few toys to his Magitech armor.
Leave this to me.
With soul and steel!
No holding back!
An opening.
I have you!
This one'll sting.
No retreat. No surrender.
Look upon a samurai of Donna!
You watching, Papalimo?
Your defense is lacking.
Is my right to strike?
It's all over now.
Leave this to me.
With soul and steel!
Temporal stasis disengaged. All systems operational. Garland?
All clear on this side. It's waking up.
Just to mention, this is still a terrible idea.
Remarkable. Omega sensors immediately detected the presence of the cocoon, even at this distance. They must have been set to scan for sources of energy exceeding certain magnitudes.
I still don't see any means to control the machine directly. It seems to have been designed to act wholly autonomously. Once we release Omega, we can be fairly certain it will attempt to capture the Primal at Baelsar's wall. Assuming its mission is successful, our only option at that point will be to re-engage its stasis system and put it back to sleep.
And should the machine happen to misbehave, we'll simply initiate an emergency shutdown. I confess we don't yet have a complete grasp of its capabilities, but I'm certain the details will not elude us for long.
Well, I understood less than half of that. So, my question to you is, are we doing the right thing?
Well, what's your opinion, Ida?
What do I think? All right. Step aside, Sid. Is this the thing I need to press?
Yes, that's the one.
You gave too much for us to waste this chance, Papalimo. So this is for you. And me.
Yes! Fly free, my pretty! Show us what you can do.
The launch sequence has begun. Omega is loose.
This is not going to come back to bite us in the ass at any point in the far future.
Omega has stopped transmitting. But that shouldn't be. I didn't engage the stasis system.
And what does this signify? I have little understanding of these contrivances.
The launch went exactly to plan, but all signals emanating from Omega have ceased. This may indicate any number of things, but we will need to join the Scions out in the field if we are to ascertain which one.
Right. I've ordered a malfunctioning beast to go to sleep. That should prevent any unfortunate mishaps. I suggest we make our way back to Gridania.
Omega destroyed the cocoon. Papalymo's spell is fading. It was bound to his ether, you see. And if the connection is broken...
Before we leave... Doesn't seem like there's anything else we can do here. I was wondering if there was anything we could interact with. Okay, let's head back to Gridania, shall we? We gain a couple of more Orchestron rolls. The far edge of fate. Alphino has the look of a man with much to say. You know, in a twisted sense, we have to give thanks to Gaius van Baelsar for constructing the wall in the Shroud here. Otherwise, some of the damage there between Omega and the Primal could have much greatly affected, say, the Sliffs and Little Solace, since they're right on the border. So this Shinru and Omega seem to have landed a powerful blow on one another, and they've crashed somewhere in Alamigo. Okay, back over to the watchtower, bordering Baelsar's wall.
My friends, I cannot well express how glad I am to see you both unharmed. They say that Omega's clash with the Primal shook the very firmament.
You need not have worried. The battle took place far above the ground. We were able to observe in relative safety, though I'm given to understand that there were casualties on the far side of the wall.
It was like watching a nightmare unfold before our very eyes. Ilberd's primal manifested in the form of a colossal dragon, a being of pure violence. It burst forth from the cocoon with such terrible force.
That such a horror should spring from the eyes of Nidhogg comes as no surprise. Nor do I wonder at its form. Ilberd all but announced it in the moments prior to his death. Plainly, it was his dying wish to visit a second calamity upon the Empire.
And I am quite certain the abomination would have obliged had it not found itself outmatched by Omega. Gods! I am no stranger to the works of Alag, but even I was unprepared for the machine's furiosity. It beggared belief.
And how fares poor Ida in the midst of all this? Have you spoken with her?
She is up on the platform, lost in thought. We deemed it best not to disturb her, but mayhaps she would welcome some company after all. Shall we?
The light's gone. It was all we had left of him.
Ida.
I don't blame anyone. I knew what was going to happen. I knew the spell Papalimo meant to cast would drain away his life force. I knew that it would only buy us a little time.
Ida, there is no need to explain.
But there is. I can't hide in Papalimo's little shadow anymore, and I shouldn't hide behind my sister's mask. "20 years ago, on the day the Empire marched into Alamigo, I was still just a child, not even 5 summers old. My father had been one of the leaders of the revolution. He had fought to overthrow the Mad King, Theodoric. And my sister had fought alongside him. But she was strong and kind, and always knew what to do. But when the Garleans came, everything changed. My father went to war against them too. And I never saw him again. After that, I remember a lot of running. My sister dragged me for malms and malms until we came to the city of Sharlayan. That was where she met Master Louis Soir. He introduced her to the Circle of Knowing, and she eventually became an Archon.
She was your inspiration. Is that not why you took up her mask and her name? Or did you simply mean to continue what she had started?
You've known all along, haven't you? That I wasn't Ida.
Of course. We all recognized you at once. 'Twas Papalimo who persuaded us to maintain the charade.
It was silly to think I could fool you. I knew that even then, but I sort of decided not to know. Ida died 6 years ago, on a mission to smuggle refugees out of Alamigo. They say she was overwhelmed by Imperial soldiers when she stayed behind to save a little girl. She was so strong. There must have been a lot of them. I'm sorry for lying to you. My real name is Lise. When Papalimo brought me Ida's mask, it was meant as a keepsake, but I decided I wanted to be his new partner, to keep alive all the good that she had done. I didn't want to become Ida, exactly. At the time, though, I still didn't know who I was myself, and it almost seemed easier to play the role. Papalimo agreed to help, of course, but it was never what he wanted for me. He wanted me to walk my own path, and those were his final words to me. The Archon's mark he gave me is faded, and my last excuse along with it. So this is it. Whatever I choose to do from now on, I do as Lise. And I choose to continue my family's fight. I want Alamigo to be the country that Ida and my father always wanted it to be.
War is upon us once more.
Do you regret standing against the Empire? Would you have chosen a different road, knowing what you know now?
To claim that I never doubted the decision would be a lie. But I made my choice, and I have defended it with blade in hand ever since.
The battle continues, and our steel is needed. Come, Shadow Walker, we leave for the east, for Doma.
Is it time for credits? It is time for credits once again. Well, there goes 15 minutes of my life once more. And so ends the post-Heavensward main storyline content, leading us quite nicely up to the Stormblood expansion.
Echoes of truths that once rang clear, two souls intertwined, one true love they did find, bringing cry, a passion welling within. Sacrifice, a bind of plea to her kin. Yet this bond of hope by treachery was broke, scattering her words to the wind.
And rather looking forward to the Stormblood expansion once again. It has been some time since I've actually went into the next phase of the storyline.
Seas of blood are a song, and death an afterthought to those who fight for naught. Alone, lying empty. Children of the land and service, why must you turn to empty bliss? Tell me why break trust, why turn the past to dust, seeking solace in the abyss. Tell me why create a circle none can break. Why must you let go the life you were bestowed? This I
back, Serenity. And we are getting close to the end of the credits. Oh god. I'm sure I could skip them, but I don't want to tempt fate and miss something. So I suffer with you. Or suffer with anyone viewing it on Twitch anyway. Anyone who's going to be later watching it on YouTube is probably skipped ahead, understandably. But if there is any post-credit cutscenes, we can give them a view, and then we will likely end the stream after catching the Stormblood expansion opening a cinematic, which again I'll probably show off at the beginning of the next stream as well, or when we're ready to go into the Stormblood expansion storyline at least. You have to fight Shiva now. That's a good fight, actually. I really like the, was it the Arcanath Amphitheater? Is there anything for us after the credits? Let's find out today. No! How dare you give me nothing after all that? Okay, maybe there is. The quest isn't actually finished just yet. 5 minutes of fate. And it seems our path is now twofold, both for the liberation of Alamigo, and of course, the possible liberation of Doma. At least it seems that's what Lady Yugiri is on her way to do. We'll just have to see where our path takes us. Oh! We've now proven our knowledge of adventuring and no longer carry the title of New Adventurer. We've had that sapling symbol next to our name for such a long time. Oh well. As I say, before we break the stream, there was one more thing we can still do. It is not here in the movies, but if I just leave this going for a minute or two, we will get into the Stormblood opening cinematic, and we'll end after that. What we'll likely do prior to starting the Stormblood main storyline is just go around the major cities once again, see what new dungeons are available, see if there's any new trials. Of course, there's still some extreme primals we have yet to face, there's still some hard mode dungeons we have yet to complete. We could always look at attempting them, or we could obviously leave them till later on once we hit the level cap. Ooh. And we have that all to look forward to. It is a beautiful cinematic. Like, I wonder who... I'm trying to understand who the second monk is. I understand, obviously, you have Lys there. Or formerly Yida, but truly her sister. But in the other two opening cinematics, both A Realm Reborn and the Heavensward expansion, you did have the Warrior of Darkness, the protagonist, your character, so to speak, or at least the reflection of your character. And her opponent does have a name, but if you actually look it up and who that person actually is, it doesn't actually tell you, like, just like Googling with his name, it doesn't actually reveal anything about him. Like, so I'm in the dark about that. Also, I think maybe the samurai could be then the protagonist as well, because now with the Stormblood expansion, we do have the Red Mage and Samurai. They became available with the expansion, even though they've been available at level 50 for ourselves. It's kind of a shame. I already miss Albert, the Warrior of Darkness. I kind of wish they had kept him, but obviously with what happened just in the last stream, just yesterday, we can understand why they may not have done that. But it's a shame. I actually really like his character. Her opponent is the Warrior of Light? Kind of a shame then that they should have, because obviously his visual appearance wasn't the same as Albert's. It's close. Maybe I'm just too picky. Or too critical. But this is one of the expansions, like, getting into Heavensward, I had the motivation to switch to Dragoon, and even though we didn't stick with that all the way through Heavensward, at the end of the main storyline we switched over to a Warrior. I haven't yet been motivated to try another class, and if so, what class would I have switched to? I would have probably chosen the Healer, since we've yet to do a healing class. Well, we haven't even done an offensive magic class yet, but I'm also aware of, like, party finding times, and tanks and healers inevitably find parties faster. But no, I think we'll stick with a Warrior. I like the Warrior class, I'm enjoying it. And we could always switch back to maybe a Paladin at some point in the future, if we so desire, and give that a try at the later levels. But yeah, we'll take a break here. And obviously, well, what time is it? It is 1 o'clock in the morning. Bloody hell. Yeah, I'll get some sleep. But I will likely be streaming tomorrow, and even though there is a few dungeons available, we might spend half an hour exploring the major cities and seeing what new things may have been unlocked through getting through all of the story content of Heavensward. See, we may not do any of it, but we can see if there's anything available to us. And then we might just go straight into the Stormblood expansion. And I will admit something. With the Stormblood expansion, I played it as soon as it got released. And even though I had to get through some of the post-Heavensward storyline, I didn't complete all the patches prior to Stormblood coming out. There was quite a rush of new players and old players getting through the Stormblood expansion, so I did end up skipping quite a few of the cutscenes of the Stormblood expansion. Obviously, you get the gist of it, and it tells you kind of what's went on, but there's a lot that I probably didn't watch all the way through, so it's not going to be new to me, but there's going to be a lot of things that I missed, a lot of subtleties that I may have missed, which will be interesting, which is why I'm enjoying doing this series. Because even through A Realm Reborn and Heavensward, again, I was skipping some of the cutscenes, and now I'm actually not forcing myself, but I'm actually taking my time. And I'm appreciating it a lot more than I was originally, and even originally I really enjoyed the game. So yeah, I'm glad to do that, both for myself and for anyone who is following the series along. But yeah, as I say, we'll probably look at what's unlockable now, and then we'll continue into the Stormblood expansion probably tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Anyhows, yeah, thank you for joining me on the stream, Serenity. Thank you for joining me, Random User. I know we had Blue Seed here earlier as well. But yeah, I'll get this exported over to YouTube for anyone who's watching the series there. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings, or rest of your days, and I may catch you tomorrow depending on what you're up to. And well, I'll see you going into the future. Until then, though, bye bye now.